All right, good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much for tuning in with me today. My name is Corey, and as the disclaimer goes, I am not a financial advisor. Do not invest in anything you are not willing to lose, and please do your own research. Remember to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you enjoy my content. That is the easiest way to support my work. Now, without further ado, let's get into today's video on Ripple and XRP. As you can see, we are still in that range, 23 to 20 cent range, and we are still sitting on top of this moving average, this daily moving average, which is good. We are finding support. Hopefully we can bounce off of this support line and continue our moving upwards trend. I'm not a technical analysis person, so we're going to get moving into the rest of the news. Moneygram, this came out February 26th. Moneygram gained over $11 million from partnership with Ripple. Ripple has been in partnership with Moneygram to facilitate the start of cross-border remittance payments, and currently about almost 10% of all Mexican to U.S. remittance payments are now flowing through MoneyGram. So they're doing an excellent job, and they're really changing the industry. They came out with their Q4 earnings report, and the SEC stated that anything that had to do with Ripple essentially was not going to be allowed to be added to that report. So the financial benefit of $323.7 million was not included in its Q4 revenue. The SEC recommended to include that sum as contra expense in its operating expenses. In response, MoneyGram had to cut its reported revenue down by $2.4 million. So it didn't add too much to the overall Q4 earnings report, but they did have to not report some earnings based on the fact that they were using the cryptocurrency XRP, probably because there aren't any regulations in place. Moving on. Here is the last outlying Ripple court case. Ripple has been in courts ever since Coffee filed a lawsuit claiming Ripple sold unregistered securities. That case was dropped, but other cases emerged. And now they're all consolidated into one. And yesterday they came out talking about the motions that the judge came out to talk about, the ruling that the judge had. And she went and dismissed causes 6 and 7, the violation of California Business and Professional Code 17500 against defendants for misleading advertisements concerning XRP, and the violation of California Business and Professionals Code 17200, United States District Court, Northern California, defendants for their unregistered offer or sale of securities in violation of federal and state law, false advertising practices, misleading statements, and offense to establish public policy. So that was also dropped. Everything else in the case is still remaining, and they gave the defendant 28 days to adjust his information and take the case in a different direction. Otherwise, we believe that the case is going to be dropped. Moving on. Crypto-X exchange lists XRP. So this is just another exchange that's coming out. It's a centralized exchange based in Singapore, and it has announced the addition of XRP to its trading platform. It's going to start with XRP to BTC trading pairs and XRP to USDC trading pairs. It was founded a few months ago in October of 2019, and its total trading volume for the exchange at the time of writing is just about $12 million. So we have a low volume, but another exchange supporting XRP. Okay, CZ Binance. This is by XRP Productions, XRP the Standard Productions. It is a comic article essentially. It is meant for fun. CZ Binance purchases country of Malta to speed up crypto regulations. This really made me laugh this morning. Handing over a giant novelty check worth $50 billion. CZ of Binance, CEO of cryptocurrency exchange Binance, purchased the small nation of Malta outright Thursday in a bold move to finally create a country that had fully fledged and meaningful crypto regulations. I'm not going to read the whole article, but you guys need to check out coil.com and see XRP, the Standard Productions, and the work that he's doing. He's adding some really great comedy to the crypto space. It's much needed, and we really love the work that he's doing. Moving on, we've got the Bearable Bull coming out on Twitter saying Palm Beach is never wrong. XRP is their #1 crypto because they are smart and they know what is coming. Palm Beach, right here. I think I've got this right here. Okay. It says right here, palmbeachgroup.com. This is their little snippet of information, their advertising material for you. And it says Ripple XRP right here as part of their portfolio investments. Now, Palm Beach is right here. Palm Beach is a investors group, and they come up with the best ideas for your investments. This guy right here, Tika Tawari, has been on YouTube. We plenty of shows, especially he's most known for London Real right now, and he came out calling the 5 top coins that you could buy to hit $5 million. Now this guy was in really, really early. His group called investors to purchase Ethereum when it was $9 before the first 2017 bull run. So these guys do know what they're talking about. These guys do. They have been in the market for many, many years. So if they're calling for XRP to start moving up, then I would expect it should also start moving up. I know that seeing it down like this to 23 from where we were is hard to see, but as you can see, we are bouncing right here. We are testing this support line, and hopefully we start moving back up from this point. I'm going to end the video by showing you the latest Ripple drop by Ripple Insights, and as soon as this is over, the video is going to be over. So thanks for tuning in with me today, and you guys have a great morning. All right.
Hey, what's up? I'm Reinhard Kate, and welcome to episode 19 of The Drop. We've got a very XRP-focused episode. We've got David Schwartz on to talk about the Xrp Ledger. Brianne Madigan's going to talk about liquidity and digital assets. And last but not least, we've got the co-founder and CEO of BRD Wallet, Aaron Voisin. Stay tuned for The Drop. David, give me some context on the Xrp Ledger, where it started and where we are today.
Well, I started working on what we now call the Xrp Ledger at the end of 2011. So I've been at this for, 8-9 years now. It kind of feels like forever. But the changes have been drastic. I mean, in the early days, all we had was the ability to perform a transaction on a decentralized ledger in just a couple of seconds. And then we started to realize that the properties of the algorithms that we developed allowed us to do things like a decentralized exchange. And then we had this idea of allowing people to issue assets and ideas like community credit. And we put all that together into a functional system probably in mid-2012.
Why is robustness so important today with so many payment providers and financial networks that are depending on the Xrp Ledger?
You have to realize that you're talking about billions of dollars in a system that doesn't have an administrator. There's nobody that you can go to if it messes up. And so reliability is the number one property. And it means that these systems are very slow to develop and evolve. In the early days, before I was working on the XRP Ledger and I was looking at Bitcoin, and we sort of had this idea that if there was any new feature, Bitcoin would just adopt it. We now know that that's hopelessly naive because any change to a system like this imposes costs on everybody who uses the system. With any other piece of software, a company will release a new version of the software. Say Oracle releases a new version, and they'll say to people who have like mission critical deployments, don't upgrade to the new version. Just use the current version, give us a little bit of time, test it, whatever. You can't really do that on a public blockchain. If the rules change, people have to run software with the new rules. If you want to ask why these systems don't move more quickly, why they don't add features on a regular basis, that's why.
You've suggested changes for the Xrp Ledger. Can you give us an overview of what those changes are and what they might mean for the network?
I've suggested a bunch of changes that fall into several different categories. One of those categories is like core consensus improvements. One of the things that I've said a lot is that proof of work is kind of a technological dead end. It works fine. I'm not saying it doesn't work. I'm just saying that there hasn't been any significant innovation in it. There are also changes that are in the form of new features. One of the features that I think is very exciting is a feature that would allow people to launch well, stablecoins are the obvious use case, but it's not just stablecoins. It's essentially assets pegged to some external value. Features similar to that exist on other systems, but the interesting thing about this is that the liquidity is guaranteed by the ledger mechanics.
Why is liquidity important for market stability and health then?
I think even to take a step back, liquidity has a lot of components that are important to kind of address. So one of which is immediacy. So I think about that as how quickly can I get access to markets and how quickly can I trade into and out of this asset or token for another asset. I think about the breadth of the market. So breadth is sort of how you think about the trading volumes at different prices in the order book, and then depth of the market. And depth of the market is really about how many orders there are close to exactly where the price is currently trading of varying sizes, which would imply that you could get a lot of volume through without having much price movement as you're trading into and out of the asset. And then in addition, accessibility is very important. So accessibility is just probably as it intuitively sounds, the ability to access markets to trade in those assets very easily. And that can be geographically or through multiple infrastructure partners, whether it's exchanges or OTC desks or what have you. And the last key attribute of a healthy liquid market is really resilience. And that is getting at the ability for a market to recover from a significant systemic event. So if there was some sort of a market shock, the ability for order books to get back to normality and tighten back to similar prices to where they were prior to that event relatively quickly. And so all of those attributes are very important to a healthy liquid market.
How does deeper liquidity impact services like on-demand liquidity or ODL?
That's a great question. So as you think about the value that we're providing sending flow from the US to Mexico, because we're able to use XRP as the bridge currency between the US and Mexico and do basically instantaneous transactions, we are significantly reducing the cost base sending that money cross-border. And the view that we're delivering and focused on enterprises is true, enterprise solutions to help them perform their business more efficiently. But as we do that, we're really giving them the opportunity to pass on the fee savings through leveraging our technology and infrastructure to their everyday consumers. So, somebody living in America who's working and sending money back to their family in Mexico, we're really thrilled that the work that we're doing is really driving value to the bottom line and to everyday consumers.
Aaron, tell me about BRD Wallet. How does the technology you guys employ make mainstream adoption of digital assets more real?
It's just an app for mobile devices, Android and iOS. The intention of it is just to make cryptocurrency really simple and safe and easy and convenient to use.
What differentiates BRD Wallet from other wallets that are out there?
Our Bitcoin wallet connects directly to the Bitcoin peer-to-peer network. So even if all our servers go away or get seized or our company shuts down or whatever, you still have access to all your money.
What's Blockset and why is it important for developers in the space?
So in supporting lots of different cryptocurrencies for our consumer wallet, we had to build out a back-end kind of enterprise-grade service for peer-to-peer networks. Since it runs on mobile devices, there needs to be a lightweight kind of mobile-oriented protocol. Our goal is to eventually get there, hopefully, with all the blockchains. For things like Ethereum, the lightweight mobile protocol is not quite ready yet, so we're doing that through a system that we call server-assisted syncing, using our Blockset backend to do that. There's a lightweight protocol for Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash and other Bitcoin-like services that is called SPV, Simplified Payment Verification, and that's what we're using to connect directly to the Bitcoin peer-to-peer network. And hopefully we can get there with all the blockchains eventually as the protocols mature.
Being a longtime Bitcoin guy, you guys are now adding XRP to your wallet. How does that add value to the overall industry and to people that use your wallet?
As I mentioned, we started off using just Bitcoin, but then when Bitcoin market dominance dropped below 50%, we realized that we have to support what the market wants. And XRP has always been right near the top of the list as far as market cap, and the number of customers and use cases for it and businesses that have adopted it is growing all the time, and it's proven itself to be extremely valuable and something that the market wants, and so that's why we're supporting it in BRD.